Well, if you're watching this, that means you've tuned in to episode 3, Patreon interviews. Stay tuned. Well, hello there, YouTubers, Facebookers, and all other onlookers. JPBII here. We're coming at you with episode 3 of the Patreon interviews. And if you're following the series, you already know the gist. You know what's going on. If you're a member of my Patreon members decided to go ahead and send in questions for me to answer, as to they, along with myself, feel that most typical interviews that are done with me are kind of the same questions over and over and over. So we thought we'd try something different and maybe even get to some questions that were never asked. So some are, some not, but we're really excited. So we've got a couple today I'm very, very excited about. And well, let's get to it, shall we? First off, we've got Patreon Black Level member. That is our top tier, Mr. Terry Ray Carmoni Jr. That's right, Terry. He is my number 2 patron. He started, came on board as soon as he got word about Patreon. And he's been with me ever since 2018, I believe, when it started, 2018 or 2019. But so glad to have him here. And so we're starting off with his questions. He put in 9 questions, along with a beautiful, beautiful email, just sharing an experience having to do with Deliverance. And so I'm excited to answer these questions. So first, take a quick slug from this wonderful mug. My favorite coffee, of course, you guys know, out of Austin, Texas. I always forget the name of it, though, when I'm on camera for some reason. Summer Moon, that's it. So if you guys love coffee as much as I do, give them a shot. And my trusty Gibson mug. Okay, here we go. So, all right. First off, question number 1. When writing a song, do you start with a lyric, riff, theme, or other? That's a great question. A lot of people do ask that question. Mostly other musicians that I'm dealing with. And I know that a lot of people get, a lot of the musicians that I work with, when I send them a song, they get very frustrated because they don't have a vocal or melody line to go by. Because vocals are always last for me. What I do typically is I take poetry that I've written, because I write down a lot of poetry in my own journals, write down ideas, different things. So, but I don't necessarily sit down and try to write lyrics for a song. The music, the melody, all of that comes first. And then after is when I attach lyrics to it. So that said, the first thing that does come is melody and music, and then lyrics fit in after. I'll go through my book of ideas, all of that, and poetry, and then I apply them as I feel the music. That's how that goes. So, all right, great question to begin with. Number 2. Favorite authors and novels. Oh, wow. I don't read a lot of novels. Not a ton. I mean, I guess if you can count conspiracy books and stuff like that. But I wouldn't really necessarily call them novels. I just, I pick up and I read those things. I think you guys all know I'm a huge fan of poetry and philosophy. So, I'm going to have to cite William Blake as probably being the higher on my list of favorite authors. So, because just his, Marriage of Heaven and Hell. In fact, I was talking with Brian Carilla about this. Marriage of Heaven and Hell is still on my top 5 of all time. So just enjoy his style. So, and then of course, I read a lot of Schopenhauer and Nietzsche, and the greats. I know people would be a little bummed about that, but you take morsels and nuggets from everything. And then on the religious side of things, Francis Schaeffer, obviously. So, but that's it. So, number 3, first band T-shirt you ever bought and wore. Oh wow. This is kind of funny. I had my 2 sets of shirts at home growing up, because growing up in a very religious household from the age 10 on. So I had my Res Band shirt, I had my DA shirt, I had a Servant shirt, I had a Sweet Comfort Band shirt. But in my locker at school, I had Iron Maiden, Black Sabbath, and I think I had a couple of Judas Priest shirts. I'm not so sure, but as far as the very, very first one that I laid down my chore money for, it's gonna have to be DA. I bought a DA shirt. It was orange. It just said DA, and I bought the accompanying button, teeny little button that was orange and had DA in green. So super cool. But yeah, that's my first. All right. Let's see here. Number 4. Do you listen to Sabotage at all? I've heard them. I wouldn't say I listen to them, but I have heard them. Cool stuff. But no, I guess the answer to that one is no, I don't. Maybe I should. I don't know. If you like them, then I'll definitely give them another listen. Favorite concert you saw? Wow, that's a tough one. Because there's just been a slew of concerts that I used to go to when I was younger. But I think the one that probably stands out in memory, as far as remembering the feel and the energy of the room and the band just doing such an amazing job, was the Somewhere in Time tour, Iron Maiden. It was just remarkable. I don't think I'd ever seen anything like it. I had gone the year before for the Aces High tour, or whatever it was called. But that Somewhere in Time tour, man, there was just something about it. And probably because I love that album. I love all the Iron Maiden albums, actually, up until Somewhere in Time. I think that's after that I kind of checked. The Seventh Son of the Seventh Son was the last one I remember buying, but I kind of checked out. I remember I didn't listen to a lot of metal, so I was very picky and choosy of what I listened to. But huge fan of Bruce Dickinson, of course, and just love their writing. But if you do one thing when you listen to Iron Maiden, they all have the gallop. They all have the what I like to call the horse trot. It's just that is Maiden's signature, that's for sure. So, but yeah, I would say Somewhere in Time, Long Beach Arena. It was just amazing. The set, everything about it. It was just incredible. So, what pedals do you like to use for guitar? Ooh. Well, when I've built several pedal boards throughout the years. And this has been said by a ton of YouTubers, but it still is true. There's never been a better time than now for guitar players, because we just have so much gear at our disposal. We have so much cool stuff to use. So when I was building pedal boards, Strymon was probably among my favorite. That El Capistan tape delay, there's nothing like it on the market. I mean, and I've bought every delay unit that was labeled tape delay, but this one was, having owned a tape delay myself for a while, this was the closest thing to it, and not having to deal with changing tapes and things wearing out and tubes and everything else. So that's always a nice plus too. But the El Cap for me was just amazing. But you can't get away from the Boss DD5 and for a digital delay, and I mean there's just a slew of cool pedals out there, man. But when I was building pedal boards, yeah, Strymon was like at the top of the heap for me. Like the Beastronics. Every pedal board or every pedal company, excuse me, has something great to offer in their collection. They've got something. This company makes a great compressor. That company makes this. Great delay pedal, great distortion. So I mean, MXR, DoD, everybody's got something to offer. And then there's tons of boutique stuff, but I got kind of wore out on the boutique side of things because I think that they take advantage of the fact that the market is looking for unique and signature pedals, and they just start charging an arm and a leg. I mean, look at the Klon debacle, real authentic Klons, cost upwards of 2,000-3,000. I've seen them go for 5,000. I mean, it's just ridiculous. So, yeah, I mean, I got kind of burnt on that. But ever since I started using the Quad Cortex, I don't do the effects board thing, pedal board thing anymore, other than a wah pedal. The one pedal I kept, because there's just nothing that can emulate it, is the Beastronics fuzz pedal that I have. Man, I just love that thing. It's nasty, it's rude. Sounds like you're agitating a bag full of bees. It just sounds so filthy and disgusting. And yeah, that's the only one I kept. So that's on my pedal board, and my wah pedals on my pedal board, and then I've got the Quad Cortex. So yeah, that's where that's at. So that's kind of been my go-to. I mean, the quality of the effects in there are just insane. They're all studio quality. So. Number 7. Are there lyric booklets available for this sad veil of tears? Yeah, I think the original release. No. In fact, I think if I'm not mistaken, we didn't have room for the lyrics in that layout. So I think what we ended up doing was just put them online. We had a Fearful Symmetry site up for a very short while when Sad Veil of Tears came out. But I didn't know you wanted that, Terry. I'll go ahead and I'll send you the lyrics for all the songs. But I don't think there is a list of lyrics. A lot of controversy on the Fearful Symmetry releases because of the imagery and the photography that was done in both Loss of Balance and this Sad Veil of Tears. Sad Veil of Tears was a little more hidden, but there was nudity in some of it, and like I said, extremely well hidden in the first release of Sad Veil of Tears. But on Loss of Balance, yeah, you open right up, and there's a very artistic nude, but nonetheless nude. And the layouts were done by my wife, by Helen, and Helen's an artist, so she did what she was feeling. And then she did Jupiter 6, the campy astronaut thing, and then the Movable Walls, which is probably one of my favorite album covers of all time. Just intense when you look at it. It moves you, It's great artwork. But yeah, so I don't think there was room. I think there was a Tree of Life in there on the insert, and then some credits. But yeah, I'll get you those lyrics if you really want them. Probably should make a place on the JPBII website with all my lyrics. Not a bad idea. See, Something great is coming out of all this. Okay, number 8. What are the background lyrics for Make My Bed in Hell? You know, I'd have to know what you're saying. You're probably talking about the midsection. That it's in a radio voice and it's extremely buried. And I believe the lyrics are, and I know the zeros are calling from the forest of decay, laying down the silver coins, laying down the silver plates, and all the time they're forging my mind. I'd have to look. I don't remember. But the last thing I say right before the solo starts is actually going to be the topic of a new contest that's coming for my Patreon. I have you guys guess different lyrics or things that I throw in there, kind of Easter eggs. And if you guys can guess what I say, then you'll win a cool vinyl package, because these vinyls are astounding that Retroactive's putting out over at boonsoverstock.com. Go and check them out. I was looking at them. Now Matt sent me some new ones, and I even got the vinyl of the Live at Cornerstone, the Triumphant Return show. Just super cool. And I love seeing that, released on vinyl. So there you go. All right. But I think that's what you say, but I'd have to check. I'll let you know. But it's something along those lines. And when I just kind of was muttering stuff while I was tracking that. So, 9. Do you have a favorite Bible verse? Yes. I was a real jerk in the early days. I used to, I can't remember the verses. I had them memorized back then, but I used to basically write 2 verses. Because everybody was signing a Bible verse with their name, to look like the proper Christian musician instead of just signing their name. And so I started just putting 2 verses, and one was, the first one being, Judas hung himself, and then the other one, go do thou likewise. Yeah, very rude. And I'm sorry if you got one of those autographs from me. It was just me being a sarcastic young punk kid. Sorry about that. Okay, so that was that. But so what is my favorite verse? It's gonna sound so cliche, but it's because I wrote the whole concept of the Weapons of Our Warfare album based on the passage in Corinthians, in 2 Corinthians. So, so it goes to show that, what influences me and what goes on in my head and my heart comes out in my writing. And so, the 10, 4, and 5 of 2 Corinthians, for the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. So those are powerful. It's a powerful statement. And it can be utilized in every which way, spiritual, practical, and even psychological. Because that's the whole thing is, the battle starts in the mind. And that's the whole idea of the weapons of our warfare. So, all right. So, bonus, how are you? Bonus question, how are you? I love that you share with us so candidly, and I praise God for you and pray for you. God bless. Thank you. I don't hide nothing from you guys. I tend to be kind of an open book when it comes to certain things, but my patrons, they get the real me. So, you get me when I'm down, you get me when I'm depressed, you get me when I'm super happy, you get me when, you get me in all facets, man. And I'm glad you guys appreciate it because, a lot of people don't want to be vulnerable. And, but I am with you guys. So thank you. And I thank God for you as well. And thank you for your prayers. And the last bonus question. What TV show are you watching currently, if any? Well, I have to be honest with you. I skip around. When Helen and I sit in front of the tube, I'm such a skip around junkie. Just looking for different things. But there are a couple of shows that I am faithful to, and one of them used to be the X-Files. I haven't watched it in quite a while. Kind of actually been wanting to restart it. And, a lot of people don't know that, Chris Carter, the creator of X-Files, is actually my wife's first cousin. That's Helen's cousin that she grew up with, Chris Carter. So, and I didn't even know it. I was this huge fan, and Helen didn't even know it. And I made her watch an episode with me. And right after, she goes, "That was really disturbing and gross." She hated it. She hated it. And then it comes up, created, written, and directed by Chris Carter. And she goes, "Oh, well, that's my cousin's name." And I yeah, that's your cousin. And then we find out later that it's actually her cousin. So yeah, it was kind of funny. But no, my new one, it's dark. It's a very dark show, but boy, it's poignant. And it falls in line with my personality with X-Files and conspiracy theories and everything else. It's called Black Mirror. It's on the Netflix channel. And there are some questionable episodes, everything, they got to do something. But man, there are some deep, deep episodes. If you like dark, dark conspiracy, yeah, go watch Black Mirror. Okay. So that will wrap it up for Mr. Terry Ray Carmoni Jr. And thank you so much for sending that in. So I've got 4 questions now from another Black Level member of my Patreon, which is the top tier. And it's the guy who actually inspired this whole thing to start. And I call him Mr. Sir Bradley Cooper, but his name is Craig Marshall out of London. So let's go ahead and begin with his questions. He's only got 4. So let's see what we got from this one, and we'll go from there. All right. Well, Craigie writes in with question 1. And it starts off, he calls it a boring, uninspired question, but I've always wondered. Okay. So who did the spoken word parts on Weapons? P.S. To this day, if I ever hear the words for the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, my brain immediately puts them into the voice on that album. That's awesome. If you have the original release of the first Weapons album, which I have somewhere, I've tucked away, or I don't know. But that actually has the name of the voice actor who came in and read for us. We found him through, believe it or not, through TBN, Trinity Broadcasting System, and he just had that great English accent, just powerful voice, super great narrator. And so he came in and read that, and we gave him his sandwich and his paycheck, and he left. So, but I don't remember his name. But he has a great voice, and yeah, he really sounded like that when he talked. It was so funny. When he came in just to say hello and everything, hello, just had that voice, it was just pretty cool. So, all right. Now, Craig asks, question number 2. Do you ever feel like your fame has essentially created 2 Jimmy Browns? One is the man behind Deliverance that your fans expect to see. The other is the deeply mystical Jimmy of Fearful Symmetry that the fans may not necessarily understand. And if so, do you ever see a time when the 2 can become one? First of all, thank you. That is a very well put question. And I'm glad you noticed the obvious Kabbalistic references in the Fearful Symmetry material. And it's actually all over everything Ladder Deliverance. If you can't catch it all on Assimilation or As Above, and hear what I say, it's definitely there. It's all over the place. There's no secret. Everybody knows. And if you act shocked and frightened and afraid, it's been out there for 20 plus years that I studied Kabbalah. I actually went and studied under a rabbi and joined his congregation, joined the Temple Yesud Hashem, and I studied for a long time, from 2000 or from 1998 to about 2008. So it was quite a time that I was in intense study. But work got in the way. Family, taking care of the family, everything else. So my studies became less and less. They weren't as intense. But I still write because I still am a student. I still stay very much glued to studying Torah, and I love the mystical aspects of the scriptures. I love gematria, and they're just fantastic. They're eye-opening studies, and Kabbalah is the systematic approach to learning the divinity, learning the deity. So it's almost scientific, but it's powerful stuff, and I want to get deeper into it again. And Craigie and I have had great conversations on video chat with one another about this stuff. So it's but the two becoming one. I think that anybody who knows me knows that there's going to be an edge of everything. Look at Subversive Kind. People don't really realize what an incredibly angry political record it is. Go and really look at the lyrics and think about the political climate in 2018 when that record was released. And I'm talking very, very politically on that record. And I just don't come right out and say things. I like to make people dig. So, but the two becoming one. I think that with my solo releases, because again, not to beat a dead horse, Eraserhead, Fearful Symmetry, Jupiter, it's all my solo material. It's all my solo. It's just Eraserhead was my first one under my name, Jimmy P. Brown II, JPBII. So, but otherwise, it's all my solo material, and that's where I get to let loose a little more about, where with the systems that I love studying and whatnot. Yeah, so that's Deliverance is a whole other audience, and those that can roll with me stick with JPBII and Fearful Symmetry as well as Deliverance. But I would say that the greater majority of the Deliverance fan base or Deliverance friend base couldn't, they wouldn't be able to grasp it. They would think it's heretical or because number one, Kabbalah is very misunderstood already, and it's an incredibly difficult subject because you got people that look at it from the Crowley way of doing things and the Golden Dawn. You've got the very Jewish texts, Isaac Luria, Baal Shem Tov. You've got even Christian Kabbalah spelled with a C, and that's very Christ-centered and the Kabbalistic approach, which that's kind of where I started. So, even though my rabbi was he was really a rabbi, he truly loved Jesus. So, and we were able to connect that way. So, but he also very much used the hermeneutical approach, because it goes beyond religious text when you really, really dig deep. So, okay, so there's that. Number 3 from Craig. My favorite David Bowie album is Outside, but most people think I'm mad for liking it. Knowing you, I reckon you might share my love of that album and understand why I like it. Do you have any thoughts on that album? Do you dig it or not? And would you ever go down the road that route artistically, basically exploring madness in art? Perhaps madness being one way of achieving the true artistic and spiritual freedom. Well, number one, yeah, I'm with you 100%. And I don't really know a lot of Bowie fans that wouldn't love that album or that don't love that album. I know that there are a lot of people that don't think it's as amazing. I think people are looking, like with anything, everybody's trying to recreate in their heads. And they were hoping, oh, Bowie, Eno, 1977. Here we go with Low, Heroes, Lodger. And it's like, no, they're meeting now in 1994 or 95. And it's not going to be that. It's going to be something way different. And yeah, the Diaries of Nathan Adler, it's a whole other animal. And it's beyond brilliant. And there's some great songs on there. Great songs. I've been asked to cover quite a few from, other than you, Sir Bradley. I've been asked to cover not only Heart's Filthy Lesson, but Through These Architects' Eyes, which I love that song. Hello, Space Boy, which I love that song. And the one that I love is the one that opens the movie, the David Lynch movie, Lost Highway, Deranged. Oh, man, I love that song. First time I heard it, it was just like, oh, my God. Just the way Bowie sings it. Funny how secrets travel. It's like, oh, my God, so cool. But, yeah, honestly, I think it's a sheer brilliant record. And yes, I would love to approach something from that level of being able to step outside of myself and create another character. I kind of did with Jupiter 6. I became all these characters, Helmut Stegel and Peter Braun and Remedios Inocentes, because I played everything on the album. So I have all these fake names, but they're all different facets of me. But I would really, really like to step into that role and kind of do the Bowie thing. But, Bowie did it so well. So it's kind of hard to mimic or copy him. But, which, cracks me up. Some moron on Facebook they just wrote some rude things to me. That, all you do is rip off Bowie. All you do is rip off Bowie. All the music sounds exactly like Bowie. And it's like, I wrote him back and I said, not one thing that I write sounds like Bowie. Obviously, you have no idea what Bowie sounds like. And the only time that I really try to sound like David Bowie is if I'm singing one of his songs. But all my songs, I don't sing like that. These high horse, these they got to get off their metal high horse, which is more like a quarter horse, especially now. But they just, these people just don't get it, and they're that group of infantile teenagers that insist if you wear a mohawk, you can't listen to anything but punk. If you wear a leather jacket, you can't listen to anything but metal. Even though the Ramones wore leather jackets. It goes on and on. Just stupid, infantile, dumb thinking. That's one thing I loved about growing up in the 80s. Everybody loved everything. I liked punk. I liked Michael Jackson. I liked Duran Duran. I liked Gary Newman. Liked everything. I liked Black Sabbath. Went to the Mob Rules tour, man. It was awesome. Ronnie James Dio. Liked Maiden, liked Queensryche. It's just, I don't understand this. Oh, that's not metal, or that's not punk, that's not new romantic. It's like, shut up. God. Anywho, yes, dude, love that record. Would love to go down that route and look for a cover, because I started working on it about a year and a half ago. A cover of Well, I won't say which song on off of Outside, but no, dude, great record. Great record. And I do share your love of it. Number 4. How did you feel the day you met Bradley Cooper? Were you awed at being in the presence of such greatness? And I just have a one-word reply for you. Yes. And your closing words, love you, bro. We seriously need to have a chat soon. It's been way too long. I 100% agree. 100% agree. All right. So we're going to wrap up today with just saying thank you. I want to once again say thank you to Terry Ray Carmoni Jr. and Craig Bradley Cooper Marshall for sending in these questions. And we'll be doing a few more episodes because questions are still coming. So, and that's a wonderful thing. And if you would like to be part of this and ask questions that I will answer on this, all you got to do is visit me at www.patreon.com/JPBII and sign up for as little as $5 a month, and you can get in on the fun. You'll see all the different things and that you'll get. You get to join a community of great people that will all interact with you. And you got a lot of cool stuff, lots of cool stuff. So, and these folks can attest to it. And to stay in touch with all things JPBII, please visit www.jpibi.com. And of course, all things Deliverance, which we have shows coming up. Please come by and visit www.deliverance23.com. And that'll give you all the information on shows and what's going on with Deliverance. And we do have some shows coming up. May 9th out in Dundee, Illinois. And the 10th, the very next day, we're going to BMI Event Center and play a show with the amazing Disciple. So looking very forward to it. But thank you so much for being a part of this, and I really, really appreciate you watching these episodes. Try not to make them long and tedious, but I'm very long-winded, so that's just the way it goes. All right. Love you all, and we shall see you soon. Peace out.